Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview to Everton's upcoming Premier League fixture against Norwich City at Carrow Road tomorrow afternoon. A 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. Bloody hell, we've forgot what one of those looks like, haven't we? We haven't had one of them for a long time. And Rafa Benitez's Everton side come into this one and it's an absolute must-win game. An absolute must-win game. There's no more excuses tomorrow. We're going to talk about Rafa Benitez's pre-game press conference that took place earlier on this morning. We're going to run through some injury updates as well. And the injury news that we've had today really does hammer home how important it is for Everton to go out and get the win tomorrow. Anything less than a win for me is completely unacceptable. And listen, even if we go out tomorrow and lose, the manager will probably still keep his job. But if we manage to go out there tomorrow and lose or don't pick up all 3 points, then I really don't understand how he would stay in a job after that one, because Norwich are in really bad form at the moment. They're rock bottom of the Premier League table, only picked up 10 points this season, only won 2 games all season, and you know, this is a fantastic opportunity. Without being disrespectful to Norwich, this is a fantastic opportunity for Everton to turn up, dominate a game, win the game, and you know, get ourselves a little bit of momentum and a little bit of confidence to go on in the next couple of weeks or so into some really important games and pick up some, you know, much needed points effectively, because we are staring down the battle of a relegation battle. We really are. And I know some people will say, yeah, Cam, but we've got this game in hand and we've got that game in hand and this, that and the other, and if we win a couple of games on the bounce, we propel up the table. And that's absolutely right. That is absolutely right. But if we manage to go to Norwich tomorrow, as I said, the Norwich team are in dreadful form at the moment, obviously haven't had a good season whatsoever, and they managed to pick up 3 points against us, or they managed to get a point against us, then it's not looking good, is it? If we can't turn up at a side like Norwich, who are really poor, and you know, win that game comfortably, then you know, I'm really not confident that we'll stay in this division this season. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, again, I understand people that say, "Oh, we're too good. We've got too good of a squad, you know, to go down." But the reality is, this is the moment. Then this is the crunch time. This is this is the game I've been thinking about all week, even throughout the Luka Dean situation. That's behind us now. We can move on. El Ghazi was announced yesterday. We know he is available for this one tomorrow, so that's behind us. I'm just focused on this game of football and getting 3 points, because ultimately that's the most important thing. You know, the most important thing is going out there and winning tomorrow, because I can't even express to you how important this game of football is. It's absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial we go out there and get the win, not only for our season in regards to picking up a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence, but also, you know, because we should be going to sides like Norwich and beating them comfortably. We should be turning up and getting 3 points. You know, my fear is that this Norwich team will be looking at Everton and probably thinking the same. They'll probably be looking, going, this is the perfect opportunity to get another 3 points on the board, get some confidence, get a little bit of momentum going, and take that on now and try and go for a survival you know, surge towards the end of the season. Norwich will be looking at Everton thinking this is probably the best team to play at the moment, and it's probably the perfect time to play them. They're not in very good form. Okay, we won, you know, last week, but it was by the skin of our teeth against the bang average, you know, championship side who had a number of injuries. So you can guarantee this Norwich team are going to come out and fight. You can guarantee this Norwich team are going to come out, you know, and you know, absolutely won all 3 points. Dean Smith is a good manager, in my opinion. He's well within, you know, the quality of turning up and setting this team up to cause Everton problems tomorrow. And that's my biggest worry, is will this side have enough? Will this side have enough grit, have enough determination? We've seen games like this before in previous years have tripped us up. Games where you sort of sit back and go, yeah, we'll be all right tomorrow, we'll win this comfortably. They've been the games that we turn up in and, you know, we don't perform, or, you know, we maybe have a bit of an arrogant attitude of, you know, yeah, we don't have to work as hard as these here because we're much better than them. And that's not the truth. The reality is we have to work harder than Norwich tomorrow. We have to work twice as hard as Norwich tomorrow, and if we do that, I think we'll win this game comfortably. I really do. But it's the question as to, will we do that, or will we go out and think, do you know what, this is easy, this will be an easy game, and get turned over surprisingly? But it wouldn't be a surprise, would it? Because how many times has that happened over the years? How many times have we come up against sides that you look at and think, yeah, we should win this one comfortably, and we don't, because the simple fact of the matter is the opposition team wants it more than we do, and we make stupid defensive mistakes. which we obviously have to start cutting out. But there's absolutely no excuse for Rafa Benitez tomorrow. If Everton don't win this game, there's nowhere he can go. The manager's had his pre-game press conference today, and he has said that pretty much everybody within the squad is fit. Tom Davies is injury free. Tom Davies is the only current Everton player with an injury. He said the likes of Yerry Mina, Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin are all returning, not necessarily to match fitness, so I don't think we'll necessarily see all of them starting tomorrow, but they're injury free, they've been training, they've been working hard, so we should expect to see them all in some capacity in and around the matchday squad. As I said, I don't think we'll see the likes of Yerry Mina starting because he's been out for so long and he's only just returning to the first team, maybe not even Richarlison, but we'll certainly have them available. So there's no excuse of injuries. There's no excuse of anything tomorrow. Even if we didn't have Yerry Mina, Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin fit, we're coming up against the Norwich side, who are 20th in the league, won 2 games this season, drawn 4, lost 14. You look at the recent fixtures, lost 2-0 to West Ham away from home. Obviously, I think I was on Wednesday night, won 1-0 at Charlton in the FA Cup, to be fair, week before, but then lost 3-0 to Palace away, lost 5-0 to Arsenal at home, lost 2-0 to Villa at home the week before that. They're in really, really bad form at the moment, and it's a perfect opportunity for Everton to go out there, and you know what, I'd love to sit here and say go out there and dominate the game. Go out there and win it 2-3, 4-0. Go and make a statement. Go out there and win it comfortably. But if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I'm not really bothered if we go out there and win 2-3, 4-0. I'm not really bothered if we go out there and we're absolutely excellent and we put in a great performance. Just go out and win. Just go out and get the 3 points. It's as simple as that. And as I said, there's no excuses now. You can't turn around and say injuries. You can't turn around and say fitness. We're coming up against the side that we should be able to beat with injuries. We should be able to beat with players, maybe not as fit to play 90 minutes. We should be more than good enough to get the 3 points tomorrow. And I'm not under any illusions that we are. I'm not going to sit here arrogantly and say, yeah, we'll beat these comfortably tomorrow. This will be an easy game, because that's not Everton. I'm absolutely shitting myself for this game, to be honest with you. And I think it'll be another torrid watch. As I said last week, I sat here in this exact same situation last week before Hull and said, don't expect Everton to walk all over Hull. This will be a tough game. We'll probably make it hard for ourselves. And that's exactly what we did. We made it hard for ourselves. We went into extra time again. We've played 3 domestic cup games this season against Huddersfield, against QPR and against Hull, and we've gone 120 minutes at least in all 3 games. We went to QPR in penalties, of course, and we won the other 2 in extra time. So I don't expect this one to be easy tomorrow. I really, really don't. But we just need to go out and get the win. That's what's most important. The most important thing at this stage in the season, given the situation Everton are in at the moment, given the sort of the mood around the football club and the mood surrounding the manager and our league position. Really, we just need to go out and get 3 points. And as I said, this is a ginormous game of football, an absolutely massive game of football for Everton tomorrow. It's a 6-pointer, effectively. It's a 6-pointer for us, because not only will a win, will be massive for the league table in regards to getting points on the table, but it also could be the start of, maybe kickstarting a little bit of a good run of form, or a bit of momentum, or some confidence to move on and go and get some decent form under our belt. The manager's been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, I believe we'll have a good second half to the season. I believe the second half to the season will be much better than the first half to the season was. Well, now it's time to prove it. We're well within the second half of the season now, aren't we? We're well in the second half of the season, so it's games like this where you expect Everton to turn up and win, and we should expect this game to not really be difficult. We should expect to be sitting there at 3 o'clock tomorrow, watching or listening to the game, thinking this will be comfortable, this feet up, no stress, easy win, and then we're all happy on a Saturday night. We know it won't be that way, because Everton never do anything that way, and that's why I'm saying just go out and win and I'll be satisfied. But as I said, realistically this shouldn't be too big of a task tomorrow for Everton, but it will be, because we're Everton and that's what we do. But as I said, there's absolutely no more excuses tomorrow. If we don't win this one, there's nowhere Rafa Benitez can go for me. And if we manage to lose this game, I think he's got to go. It's as simple as that. Some people would say, well, keep him till Aston Villa and then win an international break and this, that and the other. If we lose tomorrow, then he's got to go for me. Put Duncan Ferguson in charge for the Villa game because it's such a quick turnover, and then you've got an international break then of a week, 2 weeks where we don't play, where you can go and look for a new manager. I'm not saying the club will do that. We could probably lose 10-0 tomorrow and they wouldn't sack him because the owners come out and backed them so publicly, and the owners come out and spoke so openly about how, this is the manager and we're going to, support him. But I don't see, if we lose tomorrow, again, it's another really, really winnable game gone against the side that are fighting for relegation as well. Some would say a relegation rival to Everton, which is absolutely devastating to sit here and say in the middle of January. So, as I said, I just don't think there's anywhere to go if we don't win this game tomorrow. A draw wouldn't be enough for me. Wouldn't be enough. It will probably be enough for Rafa Benitez to keep his job because it's away from home, and Norwich will definitely be up for it and will understand the importance of the game. But even a draw for me would be a nonsense. It's not like we're sat in the top half of the table and we're doing okay, and if we get a draw away from home, okay, it might be disappointing that we haven't won, but it's not the biggest of deal because we're away from home and it's a draw and this, that and the other. We can't afford to be picking up draws in games like this. We need to start winning games of football. We've won one game in 3 months. We've drawn a number of games within that period of time. We've drew to Chelsea, we've drew to Tottenham, we've drawn a couple of games in good scenarios, draw to Manchester United, but we've won one in 3 months in the Premier League. We need to start winning games, and it starts tomorrow, in my opinion. It's as simple as that. It really, really is. As I said, Rafa Benitez has had his pre-game press conference today. He spoke about the Luka Dean situation, as you would expect. Spoke about El Ghazi coming in and what he could bring to the side. And he spoke specifically about injuries and players that are available. And this was the point that, I think really, really sort of got me thinking. He said only Tom Davies. Tom Davies is the only injury at the moment. He is due to be out for around 1 to 2 months. Obviously, he's had an operation on an injury that he sustained, and he said that everybody else has been training and in some form is available. Now, he didn't say that the likes of Richarlison, Yerry Mina, and those players returning a fit to start, but he said they're back in training and they're getting there basically. So I expect to see them, the pair of those, the pair of them on the bench at the very least tomorrow, maybe even coming on and getting some game time. The manager did say that we have potentially got one COVID case. He didn't name the player that is, but he said we've potentially got a COVID case, and we'll find out a little bit later on today whether or not that is whether or not that is a positive. What by potentially, I think basically what he means is the player's either got a test or there's been an inconclusive test. Again, I don't know. He didn't really go into detail on it, but he said there's a potential one COVID case. So we've got pretty much a full-strength team. Going into this one. And yeah, there's not really much to say about it. As I said, Norwich are a side that aren't in very good form and aren't a very good team. Let's be honest, let's not sugarcoat it. That doesn't mean they should be underestimated. That doesn't mean that they won't turn up and work hard. And we've seen, many sides down the years who've come up against Everton and they haven't been very good, and they maybe haven't had the most quality in the world, and they maybe haven't had, the best time in the league at that point in the season, but they turn up and they work hard and they battle, and often sides like this pick up 3 points against Everton, and that kickstarts their season a little bit. So it's the manager and the players' responsibility to not allow that to happen tomorrow. Defensively, we've got to be better, because Dean Smith and Norwich will be looking at this game thinking, exploit Everton's weaknesses, and our weaknesses are balls into the box. Our weaknesses are, throw the ball into the box, get as many crosses in as you can, and put pressure on the defence. As much as Yerry Mina might be back in training and injury free, I don't think he'll start tomorrow. I don't quite think he'll be match fit. I could be wrong, but I just don't think he'll quite be match fit. And therefore, again, if I was Norwich, I'd be targeting that from a how to score goals against Everton isn't very difficult. Throw balls into the box and cause problems to the centre halves, and the centre halves have had difficulty dealing with those types of situations with any team. Difficulty against QPR, difficulty against Hull, difficulty against average Championship sides, never mind Premier League sides. So we've got to be aware of that. Again, the manager said last week, stop conceding early on, and then we conceded within 45 seconds. So we've got to avoid doing that. The last thing we need is to go behind tomorrow, because Norwich will obviously understand the importance of this game and probably throw 10 men behind the ball, and it'll become increasingly difficult to break that down. So, yeah, it's simple, really. This preview could last 3 minutes, really, because it's absolutely simple. There's no other way of saying it other than win the game of football. If there's any Everton players watching, if there's anybody to do with Everton watching, this shouldn't be a difficult game tomorrow. Aston Villa, who were 3 points ahead of us with a game in hand, in and around our situation in the league, they beat them 2-0 rather comfortably a couple of weeks ago. Arsenal, who, 1 week are really good and the next week are dreadful, they beat them 5-0 away. And yes, they were in good form at the time, but this shouldn't be a difficult task. This shouldn't be a difficult game. With all due respect to Norwich, they'll make it hard, they'll fight, they'll work hard, and that's my biggest worry. It's not the fact that Everton haven't got enough quality to win this game and win it comfortably. It's not the fact that Everton haven't got enough ability to do that. It's the fact that will this team work hard enough to do that? And ultimately, will the manager make the right decisions? Will the manager go with the 3 in midfield, which we've been crying out for a while? And I think if we do go with the 3 in midfield, we'll have a much better chance of winning this tomorrow. If we go with 5 at the back again, which I'd like to say isn't likely, but given we're away from home and given the fact that the manager did this against Hull, last week, it's a very big possibility that he will go with 5 at the back. Then will Norwich find that easy to control the ball in the midfield? They haven't got a particularly great midfield, but if you've got 3 midfielders onto 2, then naturally, even if you've not got a great midfield, you'll outnumber the opposition team. So will the manager see this as a game to go a little bit cutthroat? And I think that's what Everton have got to do. Stop showing too much respect to these sides that we should be able to turn up and just beat comfortably. And there's a fine line between knowing that and being arrogant. And the arrogance is thinking, we don't have to work hard here today because we've got a better quality side than they have. We've got better players. We've got more quality in our team, so we don't have to work as hard as them, because that's what loses your games. That attitude, that cocky, arrogant attitude is what loses your games of football, because the opposition team just turns up and says, do you know what? We'll just work harder than these. And what's the saying that's on the wall in Finch Farm, and the saying that is always said in situations like this? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But if Everton go out there tomorrow and ensure that we work hard, and we work as hard, if not harder than Norwich, I don't think this will be a very difficult game whatsoever. I really, really don't. Yes, I don't think we've got an awful lot of quality, and I think there's this myth around Everton at the moment that we're a great side with a great squad, and there's no what's the reason it isn't working? Is it the manager? Because this is a really good Everton team. It's not. We've got a handful of good players, and the rest of them are bang average. And some of them are really, really poor. So it's about the hard work, it's about the desire, it's about the battle tomorrow. Every single one of those Everton players that gets on that pitch has got to understand the importance of this game, got to understand that this could be a turning point in our season. This could be a focal point in our season. We could be sitting at the end of May doing a review of the season, and this game, Norwich City away from home on the 15th of January, could be the game where we look at and we go, right, that was the game. Remember Norwich away when we won 3-0 and it was comfortable and we worked hard and we battled and it got a little bit of confidence in the team, and it was the lift we needed at such a time where we were all down and in the dumps, and then we went on a run of 4, 5, 6 games winning and we built ourselves up, and then we had a strong end to the season. Or it could be, remember Norwich away when we, didn't work hard enough and got beaten, then we went on a further downward spiral and we would end up in a relegation battle. This could be, as I said, a turning point in the season one way or the other, and it's up to these players and this manager to make sure it's in a positive light. Go out there, work hard, and beat a Norwich side that have got a few decent players in there. They've got the likes of Todd Cantwell, I'm not too sure whether he's fit or not, Timu Pukki, Mateus Norman, Max Adams, of course, who Everton were heavily linked with last summer and through the last few transfer windows. But it's a very beatable side, a very, very, very beatable side, and a side that Everton need to be targeting as 3 points. Absolutely need to be targeting as 3 points. And if we don't manage to get 3 points tomorrow, then it would be devastating, in my opinion. Absolutely devastating. Can you imagine the feeling, the mood, the toxicity if we don't win this game? As I said, I don't think the manager's got anywhere to go. You know, formation-wise, it'll certainly be interesting. We'll get into our predicted starting 11 in a moment. We are going to get in the live comments as well. If you are watching live, by the way, and you're enjoying, please hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you've got anything to say, get it in the live comments, and we'll get involved with as many of them. But it will be interesting to see if the manager does go with a 5 at the back tomorrow. Interestingly enough, I was shocked to learn that since the last time Everton played Norwich, which was at Goodison Park in October, something like that. They since that game, where obviously we won the game 2-0, Norwich have actually scored more goals than Everton have since that game. So, yeah, again, I think they might have even won more games than we have since then as well, because they hadn't won a game since then, and they've won 2 now, and we've won one since December. So, again, this is a Norwich side that can be underestimated. They can score goals. They don't score a lot of goals, and they're not particularly great at scoring goals, as their recent form will tell you. They haven't scored one other than the Charlton game for a long, long time. But, you know, again, it's defensively, I think, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I honestly think anybody could score against Everton. A team could turn up who have never scored in the history of their football club and they'd score a set piece against Everton, because that's just how bad we are at defending them at the moment. But there has to be an element of going out and puffing your chest out, battling, working hard, and knowing we need to win this game. We absolutely need to win it. I can't even stress the importance of it. And maybe the players don't see that. Maybe the manager doesn't see that. But and maybe people watching in the live comments, maybe people watching the YouTube video think, "Shut up, camp. This doesn't. You know, if we don't win this, we've still got a long way to go." I honestly think this is a vital game in our season. In my opinion, a vital game in our season. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about where do we go if we lose on Saturday. Where do we go? Where do we turn to? Where do we, what do we do if we can't get the 3 points? I don't know. I honestly don't know. If we do get the 3 points, then yes, some people will say, oh, it's only Norwich, that, don't get ahead of yourself. But we can use that as a platform then to build off, to get a bit of momentum off. It's a win. It's away from home. Hopefully we play well in doing it. But if we don't, as long as we win, who cares? You get the momentum, you get a little bit of confidence, and you take that on to the next few games. It's such a vital game of football. It really, really is, and positional, and in terms of setting Everton up, I do hope the manager doesn't go with a 5 at the back, because I think that would be counterproductive. This is the type of game that you would expect Everton to be on the front foot. Being an Evertonian, I know that it probably won't be like that. But, in terms of looking at this game on paper and looking at both teams on paper, Everton should be on the front foot here. It should be Norwich that are defending and having to defend for their lives. It should be Everton that are throwing everything at it to win the game. But in doing that, we've got to be careful that we don't get caught. I don't think we'll have a problem creating chances. I don't think we'll have a problem scoring goals, especially with the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin back. Richarlison might even be back in the frame. We've got El Ghazi, who of course is available to make his debut, Anthony Gordon, Damari Gray, and Josh Townsend. We've got a plethora of players going forward that I think will create a number of chances tomorrow and will score goals. But it's whether defensively we can keep out a Norwich team that will definitely this week will have spent most of their time researching Everton, thinking just throw balls into the box, and put as many crosses onto the centre-halves as you can, because our centre-halves can't head the ball away. It's as simple as that. I love Ben Godfrey. I think he's amazing. I think he's absolutely amazing, but he can't head the ball away. And Michael Keane, listen, we all have our opinions on Michael Keane, but he's the same, can't head the ball away. So it only takes somebody like a Timu Pukki or, somebody along those lines to be stood in the box and get, delivery after delivery after delivery to cause Everton problems. But regardless of that, with all due respect, this is Norwich. As I said, 20th in the Premier League, won 2 games all season, lost 14, haven't scored a goal in the Premier League for however many weeks, haven't won a game for however many weeks. It shouldn't be a difficult task tomorrow. It will be. And I'm sure it will be, because of how badly, out of form we are, and the feeling around the club, and overall, the lack of confidence and momentum that is in and around the squad at the moment. It will be tough, but I've got to expect a win tomorrow, I have. If you're enjoying, by the way, so far, please hit that like button. It does only take a second if you're new. Don't forget to subscribe. We will be getting into my predicted starting 11 very, very shortly, so don't forget to look out for that one. Let's get into some of the comments before we do that. Jake says, alright, Cam, mate. Alright, my mate. Mr. Hobo says, hiya, Cam, hiya, mate. Wormy says, hey, guys, what's happening? Alright, Wormy says, Jake. Will says, nothing besides a win, and he should be gone. We need a win, this one, Blues. We absolutely need a win. It's as simple as that. Listen, I can't. Some people will say, I mean, Dad always says this to me, not in this sense necessarily, but he always says, if you draw all your away games, that's not bad. If you win all your home games and you draw all your away games, you win the league. Now the problem is with Everton is we don't win all our home games and we don't draw all our away games. But the premise of that is drawing your away games isn't a bad thing because you're away from home. If you can get a point, then it's not the worst thing in the world. But I think in this situation, I'm not going to say a draw would be as bad as a loss because it obviously wouldn't, because it'd be another point on the board and, you know, we're away from home, etc. But a draw wouldn't be acceptable for me tomorrow. You know, we had this conversation after Brighton. You know, when are we going to start winning games? When are we going to start? You know, the Chelsea game was excellent because there was, you know, the young players come in and it was a battling performance and it was a really well fought and well earned draw. But it was a draw. And as I said, when we're sitting here talking about statistically and we've only won one game in 3 months and this, that and the other, we're not saying, yeah, but we drew a couple of games in there as well, because draws, you know, yes, you rack up points, etc. But in games like this, it's a win. As I said, this is a 6-pointer. In my opinion, you've got to go out and we've got to win. And I'd love to sit here and say, we've got to do it convincingly. We've got to go out and battle with them and beat them comfortably. But I'm honestly not arsed. I'm not arsed if we do that. I'm not arsed if we beat them comfortably. I'm not arsed if it's a unbelievable performance. I'm not arsed. I'm really not bothered if we win it by if the ball bouncing off of Andre Gomez's arse in the last 10 seconds of the game. As long as we win, that's all that matters for me tomorrow. Whammy says, thank fuck you're on, Cam. I've just been watching the Rafa still talking absolute well. Listen, he seems very, very confident, doesn't he? Doesn't seem like a manager under a particular amount of pressure. Doesn't seem like a manager who's particularly worried about his job or is the security of his job. He seems pretty confident. And as I said, Rafa Benitez coming out and saying that, you know, we've got a lot of players back and the only real injury we've got is Tom Davis and, you know, this, that and the other. It's piling more pressure on himself, in my opinion, because there's no excuse now. There's no excuse that, you know, Abdoulaye Doucouré's talked in midweek about playing the 3 in midfield. This would be a perfect chance to do that, in my opinion. If you are enjoying, please hit that like button, by the way. It only takes a second. Tom says, yes, Cam, loving the streams. Is right, Tom. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate that. We'll win 3-0 tomorrow. Come on, you Blues, says Stephen. Let's hope so. Tom says, what score do you reckon in formation? Formation, I do reckon he'll go with either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. He's spoken about the 4-2-3-1 today and a couple of times recently. My problem with a 4-2-3-1 is I don't know who you would play in the midfield. You could maybe make an argument for playing Gordon in the 10, which would be interesting, and Gray and Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, or Gray and Townsend and Calvert-Lewin, depending on, you know, what Richarlison's situation is. Maybe you could have that argument, but I would rather, if the idea is to play a 4-2-3-1 for the rest of the season, and that's what the manager wants to play, I would rather Everton go out and bring in another number 6, go and buy another whole midfielder that can sit next to Alan, and then put Doucouré as the number 10, because Doucouré would be perfect in that position. He's quick, he gets about the pitch, he's athletic, he can score goals, he can create chances. He'd be perfect in that area, and he's not necessarily a perfect number 6. Because as he's admitted himself, he likes to do his best work, and he does his best work going forward, creating chances, causing problems for the opposition, not sitting defensively next to Alan. I think we'd need to bring in another number 6 to do that. So that's the formation. Score, I don't even think I can give a score prediction for this one because I don't want to jinx anything, but we've got to win. Liam says, it's time to get rid of the 5 at the back. It takes away our fast attacks, which have been only good. I don't think we'll see a 5 at the back tomorrow, personally. Might be wrong, but I don't think we'll see it. Hopefully 4-3-3, says Tom. Hernandez says also, it doesn't seem as though we have a lot of injuries this week. Must get it must get it from the first to the final whistle. Will not accept a slow start. As I said, we've got to work harder than they have. Knowledge will be coming out tomorrow thinking, right, this Everton team aren't in great form. There's a lot of sort of hostility around the club at the moment, around the manager, around some of the transfer business that has been going on. They're not in great form. Now, they'll understand that we've got players like Damari Gray, like Calvert-Lewin, who may or may not be back, like Richarlison, like Andros Townsend, El Ghazi, now Anthony Gordon, who can hurt teams and can create chances. So they'll know, right, okay, although this Everton team isn't in great form and isn't particularly in a great situation at the moment, they can still cause issues to sides. So Norwich is, for me, tactically, Norwich tomorrow will be work as hard as they do. In fact, work harder than they do. And in doing that, there's an opportunity to get 3 points. Now, what Everton have got to do is work twice as hard as Norwich. And if we do that, I don't think there's anybody that will win. Because I think we'll comfortably win if we work twice as hard as they do. Because we've got the quality that'll shine through. But if we don't, and if we go into it with this arrogant, these are shite, we'll beat these comfortably, I think we could be in for a difficult afternoon. Whammy says, weird as Norwich, so defo 5 at the back and 2 midfielders, because Rafa says tactics don't matter and nothing is his fault. Yeah, Damien says, right, Cam, I fear we could be hearing the excuse of match fitness. Hopefully not, because nothing less than 3 points will do. It's crucial that we get the win, absolutely. Well, match fitness-wise, again, there's a lot of players there that are match fit. It's indeed, you look at the likes of Gray's had a week to recover now. Calvert-Lewin obviously has had a couple of weeks now to recover, obviously, after feeling a bit tightness. Yes, okay, Richarlison and Yerry Mina mightn't be match fit, but I don't necessarily think those 2 players will start. And everybody else has had at least a week. In fact, a week to recover and rest. So match fitness for the majority of the squad shouldn't be an issue. And even with a couple of players not quite match fit or out, and even though those couple of players are really important, we still should have enough to win this game. Mr. Ovo says, you think El Ghazi will play tomorrow? Would be a nice game to start. I think he'll come on. I don't think he'll start, but I think he'll come on. Glenn says, Cam, top man, if we could only sign one more player this window, which position would you prioritise? Centre-back. Centre-back all day long. Centre midfielder is close, to be fair, because again, I do think if we're going to play a 4-2-3-1, we need another number 6 to partner Alan and allow the core to play forward. But centre-back for me is number 1. We don't know what's going to happen with Yerry Mina. It's a bit annoying that he's returning to fitness now when there's an international break literally in 2 weeks' time. This time in 2 weeks, he'll be away with Colombia if he's being picked. I'm not even sure if he's being picked. So we can't rely, as good as Yerry Mina is, and he is our best centre half when he's fit, and he's a great character and this, that, and the other. We can't rely on him. And for me, Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey it's just not a good enough partnership. There's no leadership there. There's just not. Neither of them are demanding enough. Neither of them are leaders. Neither of them are attack the ball or are comfortable with the ball coming in the air. It's just we desperately need a centre half. We need a centre half who is going to be brilliant, no nonsense, and is going to be fit enough to play every week that we can rely on. So centre back, in my opinion. Liam says, I don't really want El Ghazi and Patterson starting. New boys adjusting would open up another excuse for Rafa. I would like to see Patterson start because he's been here for a couple of weeks now. Unlucky to not get on against Hull, I think, because of the circumstances in the game against Hull. That's why he didn't get on. But El Ghazi, I agree, and I think El Ghazi will start on the bench. An Everton fan says, hi Cam, hi mate. But this says, who wins, bro? Everton, hopefully. We won at 87 minutes, Huddersfield. Sorry, mate, we took it very late. Didn't we go into extra time against Huddersfield? I'm sure we went into extra time against Huddersfield, and then Townsend scored the winner. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was in the 87. I probably am wrong, to be fair. 24th of August was this it. Yeah, 79 minutes, yeah. So, well, anyway, it was very, very late. Very, very late on. Whammy said, Norwich will try. They are not very good, but guaranteed he goes 5 at the back to make it difficult. Let's hope not. Do you think Rafa will play 5 at the back even if he doesn't have a third centre-back and will play Coleman again? Listen, there's every potential that he'll play 5 at the back because we're away, and he did against the Championship Hull last week, so there's every possibility that he will. I hope he doesn't, and he's spoken today about playing a different formation, and he was asked a direct question about conceding goals as a five at the back, and again he said it's not tactically, it's to do with individual mistakes and stuff like that. But we'll wait and see. He says you can't sit in press conferences saying you're doing the best for the team and you're strengthening the squad and then go and draw to Norwich. Yeah, it's true. Alright, Cam 3-1, come on you Blues, says Mozzie. And Whammy says, to be fair though, when I listen to Rafa now, I think he is managing West Ham. Well, listen, as I said, the manager can say whatever he wants in press conferences. The manager can talk about the future. He can talk about, again, he come out last week, didn't he, and said, I'm not particularly interested in finishing 10th, or I'm not interested in looking at last season because a 10th place finish isn't good enough for me. And that's the right thing to say, and I agree. But you can't really say that when we're sitting 15th in the Premier League and we've won one game in 3 months. So, as I said, we'll get back in the live comments in a moment, by the way. So if you are watching, get your comments in. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. That only takes a second. And if you are enjoying this one, please do leave a like as well. That would mean a great deal to me. But no, as we said before multiple times, absolute must win. Nothing less is acceptable here. Norwich are a side that will definitely fight, and we'll definitely see Everton as a team that they have got an opportunity to beat. But that's down to Everton then, isn't it? That's down to Everton to deal with that. It's down to Everton to be able to cope with that, and it's down to Everton to, as I said, work twice as hard as Norwich do. Not that we should have to work twice as hard as Norwich do, but we all know we do, especially in the form that we're in. We certainly have to match their work rate and go out and get the win. So anyway, let's get into my predicted starting 11 then ahead of this one. As I said, Rafa Benitez has had his pre-game press conference today. He said, pardon me, that the only injury in the squad in terms of a player being injured is Tom Davies. He said that players are returning. That doesn't necessarily mean they are fit to start tomorrow. Doesn't necessarily mean they are fit to play in the game. However, they are returning and they are injury free. So with that in mind, let's get into the predicted starting 11. I'm going with Jordan Pickford in goal. Obviously, Asmir Begovic started against Hull, and to be fair, done a really good job. Saved us with an absolutely unbelievable save in the last couple of minutes to deny Hull from getting an equaliser. Made a really good save when we were 1-0 down as well. But it's a Premier League game. It's an absolute must win. We've got to have our best players on the pitch, and Jordan Pickford is our best goalkeeper, as well as Asmir did last week. I think he will be a feature in the cup games this season, certainly until the latter stages, or until we draw a side that may cause us problems. Maybe that will be Brentford, who knows? But I think Premier League games, it will be Jordan Pickford in goal. Left back, I'm going with Vitaly Mykolenko. Obviously, Luka Dina's gone now, so there is absolutely zero, sort of discussion about whether or not he will play, or whether or not we will, who we'll see at left back. Mykolenko, I thought, played really well last week against Hull. He battled, he worked hard. He's done an interview himself saying that he doesn't believe he was as good as he can be, which is a positive, because that means he wasn't satisfied with that performance. That means he believes he can get better, which is great, because, again, as I said, he done well. But I would expect him to do better, because that's what you would expect, wouldn't you? And for him to come out and admit that and say that is a big positive. So Mykolenko starts his first Premier League game at left back. I'm going with Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey at centre back. Again, a worrying centre back partnership. Let's be honest. I mean, this is the centre back partnership, albeit with Seamus Coleman in there as well, that conceded within 45 seconds against the bang average Championship side last week, and a centre-back partnership who, as I've just said, they've got absolutely no leadership in there. Absolutely, there's not really neither of them are particularly commanding or demanding, anything like that. So it's worrying. I don't think the manager will go with 5 at the back tomorrow. I've just got this feeling. If he does, I won't be surprised. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying that he won't, but I've just got this feeling he'll go with either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 tomorrow, and he will go on the attacking side, which is absolutely right, by the way. Going 5 at the back against Norwich away in a must-win game is setting up negatively, and is gives the wrong message, in my opinion. So I am going with Ben Godfrey and Michael Keane. I do think Yerry Mina will be on the bench, but I don't necessarily think Yerry Mina will start this one. Again, the manager said, he's injury free, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's match fit, and we have to be careful with these players. And I think Yerry Mina is probably the one that you look at and think, well, he's the last player we need to get injured because he's arguably the most important in the squad, certainly in the back, in the defence, and also he's the one that has been out with, for other than Don for the longest period of time with injuries that obviously we put him in against, was it Arsenal, and he only lasted 13 minutes and had to come off. So I think Yerry Mina will be eased back in, so I don't think we'll see him start. So in that case, going with the four at the back, I am going with Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey. And then I'm going with Nathan Patterson at right back. I know some people might say, bit of I suppose a risk to play Patterson and Mikalenko in for their Premier League debuts together. Yes, we might see Seamus Coleman, and again, I wouldn't be massively surprised if we did see Seamus Coleman in there, but we're going to have to see Nathan Patterson at some point, aren't we? We've signed him for 16-odd million pounds. He's coming to be the long-term replacement for Seamus Coleman. Yes, he will be eased into the side. Yes, I'm not saying throw him in and play him every week, for the rest of his, for the rest of the season. But I think Norwich away from home, this is the perfect game, I think, to put him in there, see what he can do. He shouldn't have too big of an issue dealing with, Norwich's attack and Norwich's midfield. He should be able to get forward and create chances as well and cause them problems, in an attacking sense. And again, I think he'll cause Norwich more of an issue than Seamus Coleman will, because he'll get forward more than Seamus will. Defensively, he mightn't be as experienced. Well, he isn't as experienced, but I think we can afford to have that. Because we're coming up against a side that we should be comfortably controlling the game in. So I would like to see Nathan Patterson start tomorrow. I'm not sure whether he will or not, but I'm gonna put him in there as a prediction. If he doesn't start, I would certainly hope to see him in some capacity during the game. Going in the midfield then, I'm going with a 4-3-3, because as I said, I don't think, when we've got everybody back to match fitness and maybe even another signing or two, then we can look at a 4-2-3-1. But at the moment, I just don't think we've got the personnel to play that. I'm going with Alan, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Gomez in there. As I said, Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré are absolute saints. Andre Gomez, when you look at the other midfield options, Gbamin, Delph, Davis is injured. Andre Gomez is the other option that we'll play if we do play a 3 in midfield. I think we've got to play a 3 in midfield if I'm being honest with you. It allows Abdoulaye Doucouré to free up himself and get up, a little bit more scored in the reverse fixture. Obviously against Norwich at Goodison Park, and that's what we want. We want Abdoulaye Doucouré getting forward. We want Abdoulaye Doucouré creating chances. We want Abdoulaye Doucouré causing problems, because when he does, then that's what ultimately that's what we want, because he can be a handful for any Premier League side, as he's shown at Goodison Park against Norwich early on in the season. So I am going with those 3 in midfield. Gomez done okay against Hull, scored, which was good, and I'm sure that will do him a lot of good with his confidence and stuff. Obviously, it was great to see him back on the score sheet, and going forward was relatively okay as well. And yeah, as I said, Alan performed well, Doucouré come on and done okay, so I am going with those 3 in midfield. And then up front, I'm going with a front 3 of Demarai Gray, Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, and Anthony Gordon. I think Richarlison will be in a similar situation to Yerry Mina, in which I think he will be on the bench and will come on with maybe 20-25 minutes to go to either kill the game off or just shore the game up, or hopefully not, touch wood, this isn't the case, try and find a winner, or even worse, try and find an equaliser, which would be a disgrace. And again, as I said, I don't particularly think he will start. Brazil announced their squad for the upcoming international fixtures, and he hasn't been selected through, I can only assume, is his injuries, nothing to do with his form. And maybe he will start, because Richarlison, as we know, is one of these players that, if he's available to be on the matchday squad, he very typically demands he starts and wants to play in every single minute. So maybe the manager will start him, but I just think we've got enough there with Gray, with Townsend, who is a little bit further ahead in his recovery as well, with Gordon, who absolutely deserves to start week in, week out, to play and to have that luxury of bringing Richarlison off the bench, or maybe even not needing to do that and giving him an extra week's rest and recovery. As I said, Demarai Gray, absolutely excellent against Hull. and as was Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon's probably the one name on the team sheet at the moment that you look at and you think you absolutely deserve to stay in this side. You don't deserve to be dropped in any sense of the imagination. So I would be sure we'll see Anthony Gordon in the starting 11 tomorrow. And as I said, the likes of Yerry Mina, Richarlison, Anwar El Ghazi, I assume we'll see on the bench, give us some options. And plus as well, if we're starting this game tomorrow and you've got, Damari Gray, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Anthony Gordon as a front three, that's a really good front three, that I think most Evertonians would be confident with. And if it isn't going our way, which is, a possibility, you're looking at the bench and instead of looking and going, oh, we've got Rondon, Tosin, Iwobi, you're looking and you're going, actually, we've got Richarlison there, we've got El Ghazi, we've got, Dobbin, maybe even Sims there, Yerry Mina. You've got options there. You've got your bench all of a sudden looks a lot stronger than what it has done in recent weeks. So I think that's a positive as well. Of course it is. So, and then obviously, as I said, Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front for me. He obviously was out of the game against Hull because he felt a little bit of tightness with his with his thigh. The rumours at that time were that he'd be fit to play against Leicester, which was supposed to be last Tuesday. The Leicester game obviously was postponed, so he's had a little bit more time to rest and recover, and hopefully he's fit enough to play tomorrow. And as I said, for me, I'd be putting him on somebody like Ozan Kabak in the Norwich defence and saying go out there and cause him absolute havoc. And hopefully this will be a great chance for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to get back on the score sheet, get his goal tally going up again, and give him that little boost that he needs, obviously after being out for so long. So there you go, that is my predicted start 11. Let us know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below before we do finish up. If you are enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. 68 people watching. If you could get the likes up, that would be absolutely perfect. Let's get back into the live comments then before we do finish up. Where were we? Loads of comments, thank you very much. Where were we? This is the worst team ever at the bottom of the league, says Stephen. Well, didn't Derby get relegated with 9 points? So, but it's a game we should be winning, absolutely. Hernandez says, I'm sure Rafa will start all of our injured players so they pull off after 25 minutes like Mina did. Cannot wait. Scored on forced. Fat Wallet says, get the likes up, lads. Cheers, my mate. Stephen says, Norwich, it'll be very easy. I don't think it will, if I'm being honest. I hope it is, but I don't think it will. Glenn says, Cam, what needs to happen for you to build confidence in Rafa before the end of the season? What is a reasonable target? Well, I've said this before and I'll say it again. After the derby, I don't think Rafa Benitez will ever come back from that. But if he is to come back, it's simple. It's winning games of football. If we win tomorrow, people aren't going to be, oh my God, Rafa in, we're amazing. Because people will go, well, we played a really bad Norwich team, we're expected to win. But if we win all of a sudden 4 or 5 games on the bounce, people might go, well, okay, maybe not necessarily like Rafa Benitez, but we're winning games, we're in good form. It's winning. Rafa Benitez can't expect any Evertonian to sit here and say, yeah, he's absolutely the right man for the job. When we're 15th in the league and we've won 1 game in 3 months, football is about winning. And football is a very fickle sport. 1 week you can feel one way and the next week you can feel a completely different way. But typically that's because you're either doing well or you're not doing well. We need to start winning games of football. That's the be all and end all at the end of it, especially in the position that we're in the league. Whammy says, well, it is easy if you are our opposition, just play a 3-man midfield and you're going to control the game, because Rafa don't seem to understand simple concepts like you play 3 centre-backs, you'll be defending your 18-yard line. Everton will be winners, says Stephen. I hope so. Whammy says, sorry, I'm on a bit of a rant today. No worries, my mate. We all get it out. We all want to get it out at one point. Joe says, fingers crossed tomorrow. Absolutely. Steve says, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a good player. He really is. And Andy says, we must win really at this point. I don't give a shit about Rafa, but I do want us I don't want us to free fall just to see him out. I want Everton to be successful, defending well and have a good run of games. Yeah. Me too, mate. Absolutely spot on. Mazza says, Woods, 30 years old, 25 million. Newcastle doing a good impression of us. Yeah. Everton 2 Norwich 0. Let's hope so. By the way, if he's worth that, what's Dom worth? Hundreds of millions, mate. Keenan said, need to put DCL right on top of Kabak. There you go. Guys, Bambi on ice and DCL should be able to ruin him. Do that and we should create chances. Well, Richarlison ruined them in the derby, at Anfield last year. didn't he? You know, when he was playing for them on loan, Richarlison absolutely had them on toast all game. So you're right, we should look at that and think, you know, let's utilise that again and do the same. Meg versus Jake says Godfrey with Mina is a good partnership. It's the best partnership we can put out there, but I don't think Mina will be fit to start. Whammy says, I'm guessing El Ghazi might come on as a sub. Gordon and Gray will start. That's what I would guess. Townsend deserves a mention, at least from the bench. Yeah, again, Townsend, you know, I forgot to mention him as well, didn't I? Another option to bring off the bench, another option to look at and think, you know, maybe we can utilise him. Again, scored a really, really good goal last week. Does anyone know how to watch the game? I don't. You'll find it somewhere, mate, on the internet. Whammy says, yeah, if we lose another order, he will put Townsend on and hope for a wonder goal. There you go. Louis is, as told you. I'm not going to read it out because I don't want to get in trouble, but Louis has told you. Whammy says, outside that, oh, there you go. 1-1, says Aditya. That wouldn't be a good result, in my opinion. Win or bust, says Nicholas. Would you take Eddie out? No, says Aditya. Jake says, and he always gave the away. Always leading to the goal. Whammy says, I wasn't against Rafa, I don't care now, the footy is shit, I see nothing that says he has a clue what he's doing, but after that Dean stuff, don't like him as a person. Well, there you go. Threw Dean under the bus in the press conference. Well, Dean sort of had to go with him, didn't he, in his interview, in his statement, and Rafa's, it's just all very childish. Listen, the way I see it, Dean's gone now, he's a Villa player, and I will not be thinking about Luca Dean for the foreseeable future because he's not an Everton player, and my club, Everton Football Club, is in a dire situation and needs to start winning football games. So Luca Dean is not even in my brain anymore. My brain is, as I said yesterday, this game of football and going and winning it, which is absolutely number one. Anyway, look, we are going to finish the live stream up there then. Massive thank you to everybody for getting involved. Big thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments. Really, really do appreciate it. If you're watching this YouTube video, don't forget to get your comments in down below. Sorry I couldn't get involved in all of the comments. As I said, once again, the support has been absolutely unbelievable. If you've enjoyed this one, please hit that like button. It does only take a second and it means a massive amount to me. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. That'd be absolutely brilliant. We will be live, we will be back, again tomorrow with the instant match reaction and the player rating, so don't forget to look out for those directly after the game as well. Hopefully it's a positive one and hopefully we're sitting here all smiles, happy days. I've got no doubt this will be tough. I've got no doubt this knowledge will make this difficult, but Everton should have more than enough to go out and win, and that's the expectation, and that's what we need. We need to go out and get the win. I'm feeling 4-2 tomorrow, says Meg versus Jake. Aditya says after Rafa. I don't know then, Meg says Louis. Big Dunk says Louis. Big Graham Potter says Jake. Nicholas says Rafa will be sacked if he loses tomorrow. I'm not confident he will. What's Dean done for us to miss him, says Jacob. Dunk with Rooney and Baines as assistant. People wouldn't be happy with that, I'm telling you. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, massive thank you for watching. As I said, please do leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. If you're watching the YouTube video, leave your comments down below. We'll be back with the instant match reaction and the play ratings tomorrow, so look out for those. Massive thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.